Well, hey everybody, it's Josh with Resort TV One, and I wanted to give you a health update after last night. If you did watch the stream last night, you may have heard Jenna say that I actually went to the hospital with chest pain last night, and definitely was not a fun evening for sure. And I can go into all the details on that here in just a second. But you may not have heard that because our stream is down right now. And if you've been watching for a while, you know that Harmonious has had some major copyright issues in the last few weeks, which is fine because it is almost over, but it takes down any stream that it's in. And so rather than remove that part, I actually just did a dispute on the claim so that the chat stays because I wanted to see all your kind messages that you sent of support. And if I remove that section, then the chat dies too. It goes away and is deleted. So I wanted to make sure I could see all your kind messages and things like that. So anyway, that's what's going on with the stream from last night. Jenna did do a stream after she found out that I was going to be okay. She went ahead and did a stream, and Myers and the Mouse went with her to help her out. So that was nice of them. We really appreciate them for doing that. This is going to be probably a little bit of rambling because obviously, I just a little bit out of it. I did rest pretty well last night, and I feel pretty good right now. But let's start at the beginning. So I was on my way to Epcot from school yesterday, just like I normally would. And I noticed on the way over that my left arm was hurting, and it's been hurting for the last 3 or 4 weeks, or even maybe longer, but just on and off. And I noticed it was hurting, whenever I would get upset or stressed about something, and I was like, I hope that's not heart related. So then, I was driving. It's like it's getting worse. What is going on? Like I don't understand why my arm keeps hurting. It's getting worse, and so then all of a sudden my chest starts hurting and getting tighter. So of course I'm at a stoplight and I look up, left arm pain, and of course, chest tightening and shortness of breath and all that is like, okay, it looks like heart attack. And I'm like, oh no, I'm really, really worried at this point. Well, I'm still on the way to Epcot. I called Steph and she was like, well, obviously if you need to go to the hospital, we can meet you there. But you decide what you want to do. I said, well, I was already closer to Epcot and I just didn't know if I could make it through the traffic to Celebration Hospital, which was the closest one there to Disney, or at least the closest one that I knew how to get to. And so I was thinking, let me see if I can, get to Epcot and maybe just get to their first aid. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe they can check me out. But I was not even sure that I could drive with the chest pain the way it was, as bad as it was. And it was getting worse and worse, getting all the way to Epcot. So I finally did make it to Epcot. And I had to park in the back, of course, because of the time of day that I was there. I guess I got there at about 4 o'clock. I walked in and went straight to the Odyssey, which obviously is, halfway through the park. So it was a nice long walk. I'm glad I didn't have to stop for very much, like security or anything else. It's all a blur. I barely remember walking up there. I was having a lot of trouble breathing, chest pain again, and the left arm pain was really bad. And I'm sure anxiety was definitely making it worse. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So I got to the Odyssey building and I went to first aid. And of course, they were amazing. Shout out to all the cast members there. They handled everything. They took everything I said very seriously. They took me right back into a room. They started monitoring, taking blood pressure, monitoring my vitals, everything that they were supposed to do. Like they were amazing. So big shout out to them. And, they tried to keep me calm and everything was great. So Mom and Jenna met me over there, walked, from where they were across the park and met me in there. And then the Reedy Creek Medical came and they did some more tests and things and found out my blood pressure was super, super high. And so they, first they gave me the aspirin, which is what you're supposed to do when there's some kind of a heart attack or not. Well, it's like a possible heart attack. They give you the aspirin, of course. And my blood pressure was so high, they gave me actually a nitro, which is supposed to, nitroglycerin is supposed to lower your blood pressure, which it did. My blood pressure had never been as high as it was. I think it was like 165 over 110 or something, and I'm normally like 120 or something over 80. So like I'm normally pretty normal. And some of that could have been I was walking through the park, quite a bit, and I was also very anxious. But either way, it was definitely too high, and they were concerned about that. They were checking ECGs or EKGs or whatever it is, the electrocardiogram. I guess it's ECG. We're checking all that stuff, and they said it was looking pretty normal, but they wanted to go ahead and send me in, especially since I still had chest pain. So Reedy Creek Medical Services came in. I got in an ambulance for the first time ever. Never been in an ambulance before, so that was a new experience. And went out back between Odyssey and Mexico. And I was just thinking, like, I've been back here before under much happier circumstances, when I've done on backstage, events and tours and stuff like that. But went to the hospital and was able to get checked right in and everything. On the way over there, they gave me another nitro because I said my chest was still hurting, and that did seem to calm everything down a little bit, along with the aspirin. And so finally I got into the hospital, and of course they ran all the tests and all the things, and it took a long time, and they were very busy. I mean, they again, it was Celebration Hospital. They did a great job. Again, shout out to them. Like, all the doctors and nurses were very professional, and everything was good. Obviously, it wasn't very pleasant. You get poked and prodded and stuck, and electrodes everywhere and everything. And if you've been in the hospital, especially for chest pain, the deal. They do all that kind of stuff, and it's good. I'm glad they did it. Like, that's why I went in there. I wanted to make sure. So bottom line is, once all that happened, it took forever and ever, to get it all done. They did one blood test on me to check for the heart enzymes that would be a telltale sign of a heart attack. And if that's happening, then those enzymes are present, and they take you into the catheter lab and do all those things and go from there. But luckily, the first test for the heart attack type enzymes were negative. And so mine were way low, way below the level that would be concerning. Almost non-existent. So that was good. And then they did they did a chest X-ray, and they did all kinds of different things. Anyway, at the end of it, basically the doctor came in and he said, "Look, it looks like none of these signs are pointing to a cardiac event." He said, "Obviously, nothing's 100% in medicine, but right now it does not look like you're having a heart attack from every indicator that we can possibly test in the ER." They did several different things and were very thorough. So anyway, bottom line is, he said, "But I want to do one more, protocols to do one more blood test just to make sure. If I get 2 negative blood tests, then I'll feel really good about sending you home. Plus all the results of the other tests being normal or negative." So he said, "Once we get that, then we'll be able to send you home." So luckily they did all that stuff. Mom and Dad came and stayed with me, so Steph could stay with Liam so that he could get some rest. It was a little easier, so he could just stay home. So Mom and Dad came and stayed with me. And I did FaceTime with Steph and Liam, so Liam wouldn't be worried, so that was nice. But anyway, I was awake and conscious the whole time. I never lost consciousness or anything like that. So they finally went through and finished all the tests, and they said that everything was good and I could go. Doctor came and discharged me. They said they want me to follow up with my primary care doctor and a cardiologist to do like a stress test and all that kind of stuff. So, but the doctor again said there's nothing 100% in medicine, but it really doesn't look like you've had any kind of a cardiac event here. But I really want you to follow up, and we just need to rule everything out. So again, doctor did a great job. I felt like everybody was very thorough, took my concerns seriously, and everything was good. I felt much better, obviously, after the tests were negative, and it looked like, okay, high certainty or high probability that I wasn't having any kind of heart event. So, the nurse was talking to me, and the doctor mentioned this a little bit. He's like, "We don't know for sure," but he said, "I want you to talk to your primary care physician about anxiety, and that may be what's going on." Because I mentioned that when I get upset, my arm pain gets worse, and of course I read the thing on the internet about the chest pain and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sure that made me more anxious. But I didn't really have a super I guess I had a very busy day yesterday, but it wasn't like one of the most stressful days. I think it's just all been building up, is the bottom line. And there's a lot of stress on Fridays to get to the stream on time. And I know that all of you would be super understanding when we start the stream late, but I like to be professional and on time and all that stuff. And of course, Jenna's always there early, and she can start the stream without me. And I'm just going to have to kind of start letting things go a little bit and not being so upset about, if things aren't perfect. And that's just going to have to be the way it is. So I noticed that when I was calmer, then the pain would subside, which leads me to believe that it is anxiety related. And I am still going to, follow up with my doctor and with the cardiologist and all those people to make sure that there's nothing to be concerned about. Incidentally, and I know I'm sharing a lot of my medical stuff here, but it's nothing really a secret. I don't mind everybody knowing, because I know a lot of people are concerned, and I appreciate that very much. So one of the things, I just had an appointment like 2 or 3 weeks ago with my primary care doctor, just a regular checkup. And she said that she was happy with my latest blood test, that my cholesterol and everything had gone down, was all pretty much, close to acceptable levels. Everything was in the right directions, which was good. So, that's what leads me to believe that there's anxiety, related here. And I've noticed, even as I've been home, if I talk about something stressful, things start to tighten up again, and not necessarily in my chest, but just in my arm. And if I, relax, then things start to loosen up. By the time I left the hospital and my mind was pretty much off of it, and I was just tired and wanted to rest, everything was very calm. Like, I felt super normal once I was ready to leave the hospital and everything had kind of subsided and we knew that the tests were negative. So again, that does lead me to believe there's some anxiety going on. And I know that a lot of people deal with that, and I'm certainly not you know, certainly not ashamed to admit that I might be anxious about stuff. I think everybody knows I'm pretty busy. But I guess this should be a lesson to everybody, hopefully, that number one, you should always take chest pain seriously. And all the doctors said you did the right thing by coming in. The nurses, everybody said, look, you did the right thing. You know, the greatest thing I could do is tell you that you're not having a heart attack. It's okay, you know, that you came in and that you don't appear to be having a heart attack. That's a good thing. And we're happy that you got it checked out. And same thing for everybody. Don't, you know, when I say that mine may be anxiety, I still don't even know. So, you know, if you do have chest pains or arm pains or whatever, like definitely get checked out, because, you know, every case is different. And again, nothing's ever 100%. So, so definitely, you know, get yourself checked out if you even have the slightest doubt, because it's worth the time, effort, and even the money to make sure that you're okay. And I think that's the lesson I've learned, is that I don't regret, you know, going in, even though it was 7.5 hours in a hospital that obviously wasn't pleasant. It was the right thing to do. So, otherwise, just wanted to say also about anxiety. You know, I know a lot of people deal with it, and a lot of people say our streams help with anxiety, and we were glad to hear that for sure. I think just with me, there's so much going on with school. And with, you know, with the streaming, and, you know, I haven't even really streamed that much lately because we've had the media events and everything else. I think I've averaged like one stream a week in March. But just everything going on. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes as well, you know, and, you know, so it's just a lot to deal with right now. And I think I just need to find a way to let it go, because what I thought about when I was in the ambulance was, you know, when I didn't know what was going on, I was like, well, if I am having a heart attack, like literally none of this stuff that I'm worried about matters at all. And so the only thing that matters is just that I can be here for Liam and be here for Steph and everybody else. And so none of this stuff I'm worried about even matters. And, you know, everybody who cares about me is going to accept me for, you know, who I am and for what I need. And if I need, you know, to rest, if I need to stream, if I need to do this or that, then people will be supportive. Which leads me to the next thing. I may go stream later today with Jenna at Magic. Obviously, we're not doing all day. I did need to rest after being at the ER till after midnight. But you might be like, you need to rest, but actually, and I can understand that, and I certainly appreciate the sentiment. A lot of people posted messages saying I need to rest and get better, and listen, that's 100% probably what I would say to somebody in the same situation, so I appreciate that a lot. What's interesting is, if this is anxiety like it feels like, getting out of the house and doing something fun might actually be the best medicine, if that makes sense. So I don't want anybody to think, okay, he was just in the ER. What's he doing out doing a stream? It actually might be what I need, if that makes sense. And so the other thing I have to do is stop worrying about what other people think. You know, I know the majority of everybody that watches knows what's going on. And, you know, there may be somebody that says, oh, he's doing this to get money or whatever. I mean, certainly, you know, I've talked about this. Our financial situation isn't fantastic with our family, and that's a big stressful situation right now. But that's not why I would do this. I would do it because I think I just need it. I need, you know, to be at Disney and to be able to relax and to be able to kind of drop all my troubles and stress for a little while, which is why I think a lot of people go to Disney. So I don't think that's uncommon. But I say that to say that people can think whatever they want to think. I really don't care. I am going to only, you know, take care of myself and my family at this point. I'm not going to stress about what anybody anywhere, you know, thinks, whether it be at school, whether it be, you know, with the stream, whether it be, you know, anywhere else. I just have to be able to, just, you know, be okay with whatever I decide and whatever I do for the best of, you know, my ability and for the best of my health and for my family's health. So appreciate everybody's support. Again, all the kind words. I've gotten messages and, you know, support from so many people. It means more than you know. And all the kind words in the chat last night, all the hearts and everything, I saw a lot of it as we were kind of, you know, as we were kind of watching back and forth. Whenever the doctors and stuff would come in, we turned it off. But we watched some of the streams, so it was helping keep my mind off of it. So again, I think that's what I need to do for now. Go to the doctor, maybe talk about anxiety, rule out cardiac, and go from there. And that's kind of what I want to do. So in the meantime, I'm sure everybody will understand if there's any changes. And if I do feel like putting videos out, then I will. If I don't, then I won't, and I know everybody will be supportive of that too. So if you see a video, you know, that's great. I actually had a video planned for tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be out or not. It's like a Disneyland tour that I spent several hours filming, and I just have to take one little copyrighted section out of it, and we'll go from there. But either way, I know I've rambled enough. I'm sorry that it's so long. I just wanted to really make sure that I, you know, got to talk through what was going on, and certainly hope that it answers some questions. And again, just thank you for all the support. It really is truly amazing and incredible. We have the best community anywhere on YouTube or any other social media. I really believe that you guys are honestly the best. We're not going anywhere, and as if I could joke around, like, you're not going to get rid of me that easily, right? but anyway, no, I'm definitely feeling better, and we'll see what happens. Again, even if I don't stream later today, like, if I want to rest some more, I'll make that decision. But Jenna thinks she probably will go live a little bit from Magic Kingdom, just because we already had a reservation there. So. And she doesn't mind. She feels fine and everything. So anyway, I just appreciate everybody supporting no matter what we decide. Just realize that, we're going to pray, we're going to reflect, and we're going to do all the things and make sure that we make the best decisions for us. And if you guys will support that, we appreciate that so very much. So anyway, that's all I have for right now. Obviously, check out the sponsors. I'm not going to say them because that's not what this video is about, but do check out the sponsors. Links are in the description. They do help us out a lot, and we appreciate them very much. So definitely check all them out. And otherwise, we'll see you guys as soon as possible. And again, feel free to leave a comment and let me know, how you're doing. Hopefully you're doing okay and everybody's doing okay there too. So anyway, we'll see you all very, very soon. So for now, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye-bye.